Let's talk about something you interact with dozens, maybe even hundreds of times a day without even thinking about it. It's called user experience, or UX for short. It's kind of like this invisible force that shapes how you feel about pretty much everything you use, from the app on your phone to the coffee maker in your kitchen. Okay, so to kick things off, I've got a question for you. What in the world do a bottle of ketchup, Airbnb, and Netflix all have in common? Now, I know it sounds like the beginning of a really weird joke, but the answer is actually the key to understanding a multi-billion-dollar industry. Before we get into all the tech stuff, we need to start with something way more fundamental, something we all get. And that's just the simple idea of an experience.
I mean, what even is an experience? If you look it up, a dictionary will tell you it's the process of learning something by doing, seeing, or feeling it. The key word there is process. It's not something that just happens to you. It's about how you engage with the world.
And you know what? We're all experts at judging experiences. Just think about it. When you see a beautiful plate of food versus a sloppy mess, you just know which one is better. Or a sign that's super clear versus one that just leaves you more confused. You have this gut feeling, right? That feeling is the foundation for everything we're about to talk about. So how do we make the jump from that general gut feeling about an experience to this very specific thing called user experience? Let's break it down. Okay, so here's the official definition. User experience, or UX, isn't just about a single button on a website. It's everything. Every single interaction you have with a company, its services, its products, the whole shebang. And this idea comes from the guys who literally wrote the book on this stuff, Don Norman and Jacob Nielsen. They actually coined the term user experience because they wanted a phrase that captured the entire experience, not just how a product looked, but how it felt to use it from the very beginning to the very end. So what does someone in UX actually do all day? Well, they basically become detectives. They dig deep to understand absolutely everything about the people using a product. What do they need? What do they care about? What are they good at? What are they not so good at? And this is super important, they have to balance all of that with what the business is trying to achieve. They're like the bridge between the user and the company. And it turns out, building that bridge pays off. Big time. Because focusing relentlessly on the user, well, it's one of the smartest, most profitable things a company can possibly do. I mean, just look at Airbnb. Their crazy growth wasn't just because they had a good idea. It was because they obsessed over the user experience. They knew the biggest hurdle for users was trust. I mean, staying in a stranger's house. So they built features like high-quality photos and two-way reviews, all designed to make people feel safe. That focus is what drove them to $1 billion in a single quarter. Or think about Netflix. A huge chunk of their insane revenue comes from making the experience feel effortless. That recommendation algorithm that somehow knows exactly what you want to watch next, the simple fact that it works the same whether you're on your phone or your TV, that's not an accident. That is pure UX, removing every possible bit of friction. And then you've got Spotify. Let's be real, there are a lot of music apps out there. So how did they come to dominate? Their user experience became their secret weapon. It wasn't just about having all the songs, it was about creating things like the Discover Weekly playlist. Nobody was screaming for that feature, but it solved a problem we all have. Help me find new music I'll actually like. That's a UX-driven home run. All right, so this brings us right back to ketchup. This little story is honestly the perfect way to understand how this all works in the real world. For decades, we all knew the classic glass ketchup bottle. It looked iconic, right? But using it was awful. You'd hit the bottom over and over, nothing would happen, then whoosh, a giant puddle of ketchup ruins your burger. It was a bad user experience. The new squeeze bottle might not be as elegant, but it solves the user's problem perfectly. That's the shift. From just how it looks to how it actually works for a person. So what can we learn from a ketchup bottle? Well, a lot, actually. First, this wasn't just a lucky guess. Heinz based the redesign on research and data. They sent people into kitchens to watch how real families struggled with the bottle. Second, because of that research, they solved a real, tangible problem. And third, they found hidden insights. No one in a focus group would have said, you should turn the bottle upside down, but watching their behavior revealed the answer. That's the magic of UX. You observe people to find solutions they can't even tell you they need. Okay, so now that we've got a good handle on what UX is, let's use that knowledge to bust some really common myths that are floating around out there. You hear this one constantly. People don't scroll. You have to put everything important at the very top of the page. It's just not true. Think about your own social media feed. You'll scroll for ages if the content is interesting. The goal isn't to stop people from scrolling, it's to make it worth their while. This is probably the biggest myth of them all, that design is just about making things pretty. As we just saw with the ketchup bottle, good UX is not about decoration. How it looks, the user interface, is part of it for sure, but the real goal is how it feels to use. Does it make sense? Is it easy? Aesthetics should always serve that purpose, not the other way around.
Oof, this one is a dangerous trap. It's so easy for a creator or a company to think, well, I like it this way, so everyone will. But you are not your user. You know way too much about your own product. That's exactly why real user research, actually talking to and observing people, is so critical. You have to get out of your own head.
And finally, there's this idea that every single inch of a screen needs to be packed with information. In reality, white space, or negative space, is one of a designer's most powerful tools. It gives content room to breathe. It improves readability and helps you focus on what's important. It's not wasted space, it's focusing space. So there you have it. From the shape of a ketchup bottle to the layout of an app, user experience is this hidden layer that shapes so much of our world. So I'll leave you with a question to think about. What's one product you use every single day? Your TV remote, your banking app, even the dashboard in your car, that you'll now see in a completely new light?